Never actually went away. You probably went away because we had a commercial there. I'm Steve Anthony, and it's time for Chitting and Chatting in Toronto. Depeche Mode plays tonight, and which is a Monday night, Tuesday night in Montreal. Alan Wilder's in our studios, and welcome. There's always an official Much Music handshake that is made. You have tons of fans outside, and we're going to field some of their questions a little bit later on. I guess the first thing I got to ask you is, you guys are immensely popular in Britain. And then there are all kinds of places where people are indifferent. Does that ever surprise you why it is that you're so huge in Britain and other places the popularity is, well, I wouldn't say dwindling, but isn't the way it is in Britain?
This interviewer is a jackass, and you can tell right from the start he's not a Depeche Mode fan.
Well, that's actually, you got it slightly wrong there, because our popularity is much greater in other places, and it's not so great anymore in Britain.
Oh, really?
In Great Britain.
Since when?
Well, over the last few years, we've kind of built a lot in Europe. We've got a big European following now, especially Germany, France, Italy.
Yeah.
Whereas Britain is kind of sort of just gone along like that, you know.
Does it all depend on your record company? It's kind of out of your hands?
I don't think so. I think it's a lot of the reason is that the fact that we've constantly gone back and toured every year and built up this kind of hardcore following of people that have just stuck with us, you know.
Oops, I forgot to give you this. This is, you're supposed to pass. I'm supposed to pass.
Oh, great.
Pass that on to Freddie.
Thanks very much.
It's just a note for
You can tell by the look on Alan's face he thinks the interviewer is a total idiot.
The synth pop, I know you guys just don't play synthesizers, that's a ridiculous notion. But when you listen to Depeche Mode music, it sounds very synth-oriented. That seems to make sense. You have been called a synth pop band before. Does it scare you? How do you feel about the fact that, you know, basic rock and roll, basic drums and guitar and bass guitar seem to be coming to the forefront, or have been for the last little while? I mean, Springsteen albums and John Cougar Mellencamp and Georgia Satellites. How do you see the future of synth pop?
I think it's rather sad that people don't explore the technology a bit more, really, because there's so many possibilities with sound, and we've always had this kind of interest in exploring new technology, and I think we'll continue to do it, you know. There's very few bands that really take the sampling technique very far, really, you know.
Alan, I think we're under attack, by the way.
Yeah.
We should just disregard it. Now, are we under attack?
Could be.
Get down! Get down! But that's not, perhaps that's their point of view. Georgia Satellites or John Cougar Mellencamp want to do that kind of thing, but there is a mass acceptance of that. Does that, you sound so skeptical. I said, does that disillusion you? How do you see the future of synth pop?
No, it doesn't. I mean, I think there's a lot of people interested in what we're doing as well. There definitely is. We know it to be true. Yeah. I mean, we'll just continue to work that way because it's the way we prefer to work, you know. To be honest, the instrumentation isn't really that important to us. It's whether we've got a good song on our hands is much more important to us, you know.
Alan is totally right about this. It doesn't matter what type of music you make. It's the quality of the writing and the quality of the production that matter the most.
Fear for the song, that's it really. You know.
One of your fans aside was saying that he saw you guys performing on Top of the Pops, and that you were playing percussions.
Yeah.
Is that something you're going to do more regularly?
Not really. It's just something that when you're doing a TV, it gives you an opportunity to do something slightly more visual, you know. And this isn't very visual, so that's the only reason for that, really.
All right. The writing on Music for the Masses, does it differ a lot from the writing for the other albums?
The writing, what, the songs?
The songs themselves,
Not really. I think a lot of the subject matter of the songs is kind of following on from... I mean, they're very personal songs to Martin.
And keeping a straight face here.
Well, you know, I'm used to it. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
No, they're very personal songs to Martin, and I think the kind of themes of the songs are very much similar to what we did on the last album, so I wouldn't say it's completely changed, no.
Another thing, and this is another fan question, it's great what you can find out from them. Sacrifice seems to be the only song on the album itself that has anything to do with what you would assume Music for the Masses would be. I mean, some kind of religious significance, and Sacrifice seems to be the only one that even closely relates to this.
You mean sacred?
I mean,
this man said sacrifice. What a fucking idiot. I can't believe Alan has to put up with this shit.
Sacred, right? I say Sacrifice, I'm sorry, Sacred, right. It seems to be the only one, so why was that the title of the album? Is it...
Well, it's not meant in that kind of religious sense. Mass isn't meant in that way, no. It's purely, it's supposed to be a sort of ironic title, you know, because we don't feel that we're making, like, outwardly direct sort of commercial music. On the other hand, we do feel it warrants being listened to by the masses, so it's kind of, people, it's not meant in an arrogant sense, it's meant in a slightly tongue-in-cheek sort of funny way, you know.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk more about the new album, etc., but let's do the one which, at least in North America, brought you to prominence. Here's People Are People, Depeche Mode, on Much Music. Again, if for some particular reason you were functionally illiterate and couldn't read what was written on the bottom of the screen and wouldn't know better, People Are People, Depeche Mode, Alan Wilder from the band is here. They're playing at Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens this evening, which is a Monday, and in Montreal on Tuesday night. Fans are outside, and as was illustrated before, they are passionate fans. And so we decided to go out there and ask them what they wanted to ask you if they had the opportunity. Most of them kind of went, we know everything there is to know about the band, so I had to actually push about it. What made you give up, or why did you stop playing classical piano? Because you did play classical piano.
Oh, yeah.
Not many people know this, but Alan studied classical music as a child. So did I. This gives you a great musical foundation, which helps explain why Alan is so gifted at music.
But it wasn't. And, well, I just didn't really have much interest in classical music, so I stopped having the lessons, you know. But it was a good training, you know. I don't regret it at all. I'm pleased about it.
Yeah. That never enters into it. You would never think of entering that proficiency.
Oh, no, I've never anywhere near good enough to really compete in that field anyway. You know.
Yeah. Here's another question. Tell us all about your private life. When you're not doing anything, when you're not on the road, when you don't have to think about putting an album together, what do you do to cut loose? I mean, it might sound really boring, but just real general things, you know, the usual things. No, I'm not into driving fast cars, no. I just like to go to the cinema, go out to restaurants, do really normal things, you know. Yeah. It's a concerted effort just to tune everything else out, right?
All you want to do when you get home is just relax, you know, because we work very hard.
Yeah. This is a question, obviously, from Martin, but you're here on the last two albums, Black Celebration and Music for the Masses. There's reference to someone 15 years of age, and the question is why and what, and an explanation for that.
Well, I'll try and speak on his behalf. Okay. I think he just has a sort of... He says he has a fascination for innocence, so that's obviously the reason he keeps referring to young people in his songs.
Yeah, and that's the definitive age, I guess. What did Dave name his baby?
Jack.
Jack! So it's obviously a boy.
That's right. Your powers of perception.
That's one of the reasons that
You can tell at this point Alan is pretty much done with this guy and just wants the interview to be over. This guy may be the worst host in the history of TV, and he seems totally oblivious to it.
Again, staying at home, I'm going to see my parents, usual things.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who won't be able to see you because Canada is a whole lot more than Toronto and Montreal, but you just said you were going to return.
We are coming back. We're planning to do a longer American and Canadian tour in May, June, July next year.
Some of the smaller markets?
Pretty soon. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get to a few more places. Yeah.
Okay. Winnipeg, they might be coming, hopefully. Edmonton, etc. I don't know. I'm just judging. And the other thing, last question I want to ask you, Nitzareb was supposed to open for you on these two dates. Now, what happened?
Well, unfortunately, they're label mates of ours in England. We like their music, so we wanted them to come and do the tour, and they were very interested in coming and playing in America and Canada. Okay. And unfortunately, the Americans wouldn't grant them their visas with no explanation as to why.
Oh, really?
So the so-called land of the free, you know. Okay. So it's a shame because they're a good band, and we were looking forward to seeing them too.
Yeah. So who's opening up for you then?
So we've got a band called Voice Finder from San Francisco, which I don't know much about.
Right. And is there a chance that Nitzareb, it's pure speculation, but is there a chance Nitzareb would open for you when you come back?
Well, it depends. It really depends on the American authorities, whether they're going to give them a visa, you know.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Alan, very much.
Thank you.
For getting out of here. From Music for the Masses, here's Never Let Me Down again on Much Music in Stereo.
Overall, I thought the interview was terrible. Maybe one of the worst I have ever seen. But credit to Alan for soldiering through it. If you guys like this type of video, please let me know and I will make more. Until next time, be safe and take care.